Melbourne City 6-1 in the 2023 Grand Final. But those days seem rather a long time ago at present, with a heavy defeat to Sydney, leaving them 7 points off the final spots, and still with 2 more away trips to come before they can enjoy the home comforts of Gosford once more. The Wanderers have established themselves as the great entertainers of the A-League. They're 12 games and produced 51 goals so far, more than any other side in the competition. But I'm sure they'd settle for a 1-0 win tonight if it means they are level on points with the top 6 come the end of the evening. Here's the team news. 3 changes for the Wanderers and 3 big names dropping out of the 11. Nicholas Milanovic, Juan Mata and Zach Sapsford are all relegated to the bench as Alan Stajic rotates his squad. In come Aidan Hammond and Marcus Antonsen, both for just their 3rd start of the season. And there's a second Wanderers debut for Jared Carluccio, who begins another stint with the club after re-signing from Perth Glory. The Wanderers' other new signing, Alex Gersbach, isn't yet in the country. Gabriel Kleur, Jong Tae-wook and Dylan Chicluna are all still out injured. There is Marcus Antonsen, who's had to work pretty hard to get a starting berth for the Wanderers this season, but he has netted 4 goals in his last 8 games. 3 of those were off the bench. Now just the one change for the Central Coast Mariners. Vitor Feijão drops down to the bench. Nathan Paul returns as the Mariners revert to the back 3. Mikhail Docker plays at left wing back. Arthur De Lima and Christian Theoharis will work either side of Alu Kuol in attack. Still no Lucas Maragis, Miguel De Pizio or Brad Tapp. Bailey Brantman is also out of the matchday squad. Ryan Edmondson is back on the bench, a bench that also includes Lucas Chicluna, brother of the Wanderers Dylan, and who is eager for his Mariners debut. Harrison Steele is the man of the moment for the Mariners in a season when they've struggled for goals. He's scored in his last 2, which makes him the club's joint top scorer alongside Alu Kuol. The RBB have arrived a little late, but they are here. They will provide the noisy backdrop. Alan Stajic, of course, spent just over 2 years as head coach of the Mariners, guiding them away from the bottom of the table and into the finals. Tonight is his 99th match as an A-League men's coach. Mark Jackson has read the riot act in recent weeks, promising changes if his charges don't step up. But with the ownership situation of the club still rather up in the air, his options may be somewhat limited in the January transfer window. Referee tonight, Alex King, assisted by Hugh Fenton-White and Astro Sakalis. Nathan Shakespeare is the 4th official, and Chris Griffiths-Jones is in VAR. Storm Room playing game number 216 in Mariners colours tonight, by far their most experienced players, and it's a warm welcome back the west of Sydney for Jared Carluccio this evening as well. So the Mariners in all yellow get us underway, the 36th meeting between the two, the most famous of which of course was the 2013 Grand Final. Both these clubs, Daniel McBreen looking to get back to those heady days which seem a while ago, particularly for the Wanderers.
Yeah, good evening Simon. In particular for the Wanderers, you're right. Get some consistency, some back-to-back wins together, we'll see them move up that table and be real contenders. They have so much attacking quality in their front third. It's just whether or not the other end can be a little bit more frugal.
Well, they're up against a team that's scored only 12 goals this season. Only Perth Glory have scored fewer. That's the issue that Mark Jackson must resolve. They were in the game for a long period against Sydney before Ufuk Taleh's substitutions really changed the outcome of the game, with Adrian Segicic scoring a hat-trick. And if they are going to make the top 6, they've got to get a bit of a wriggle on. ball by Brian Kaltak, comfortably cut out by Bozidar Kraev. This is Jack Clisby, whose place, I guess, is going to be under threat due to the imminent arrival of Alex Gersbach next week. He'll be due in Wanderers training, as we heard from Alan Stajic pre-game on Monday. Storm Roux with the ball back for McCalmont, which is a little bit short. And McCalmont has gone down under the weight of that challenge from Oscar Priestman. And immediately Alex King has gone over just to check that the Northern Ireland international is okay.
Well, this doesn't look good. It was a solid tackle both ways. Straight away he grabbed the knee and he hasn't moved. Nothing wrong with the challenge. And I think it's actually
kicked into Priestman, hasn't he?
I think his knee is hyperextended around the leg of Priestman, and this doesn't look good.
You can normally tell when a player doesn't move, then there's a problem.
Yeah. And just as we saw on the replay, it was both players going in strong. Priestman got there first. And it looked like the leg just hyperextended. From what we've seen of him this season, he's not the kind of player to go down either. Usually bounces straight back up.
Well, Mark Jackson has had some injury problems in that area of the field. The first tackle was okay. It's that follow-through from McCalmont on Priestman. No fault to Oscar Priestman. It has caused the issue. Of course, Brad Tapp still out injured and is likely to be so for some time for the Mariners. He plays in that central midfield role, so they'll hope that he's going to be okay to continue. Try and run off that little problem. And Alfie McCalmont now back with us, and hopefully no longer term effects. Nodded out of play by Jack Clisby, who of course spent a little bit of time as a Mariners player back in the days when bumping along around the bottom of the table. Thea Harris got rid of one defender, and Alu Quall trying to divert the ball goalwards, completely missed his kick. A very robust challenge to win possession back, which might have been borderline a foul, but Alex King happy to let that one run. Just a little bit too much on that one from Trent Sainsbury.
Well, Alex King letting the challengers fly early, letting the game flow a little.
Well, to poor clearance by Pantasopoulos. Here's Mikael Docker. Well, McCalmont was lining up to take it away from him. Docker wanted to go himself. He's yet to score in the A-League this season. He has earned his team a corner. Good positive start by the Mariners, though.
Yeah, it was good pressing, but a sloppy pass out. I thought Docker may have just unleashed with his right foot. Decided to bring it back onto the left.
Docker in the corner and will take it deep towards the back post. Too deep in the end. He's been the ultimate utility for Mark Jackson this season, hasn't he, Mikael Docker? Right back, left wing back, midfield striker.
Yeah, anywhere. I just don't think he's got the frame to play in goals.
Priestman. Through all the entertainment that the Wanderers have provided this season, their home form has been mixed, to say the least. 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 defeats. Something that they'll be looking to put right tonight. Aidan Hammond's guilty of holding. Interesting changes tonight, I guess, from Alan Stajic, but perhaps understandable in the context of the long trip to Perth midweek.
Yeah, short turnaround, long trip across the country. It's always a good opportunity to just mix it up a little, freshen a few players, and ready for the rest of the season going through. To be fair to Alan Stajic, he's got quite the depth in his squad, hasn't he? Particularly in the attacking area. You heard him say in the pre-game that there's another one to be announced, another signing to be announced on Monday.
Any clues, Macca?
An ex-Wanderers player has just been released from another club, so I'm wondering if he'd be coming home.
Okay. I've seen the club linked with both Tommy Deng and Miloš Degenek as well, but
yeah, I saw those links as well.
Whether they're true or not, I guess we'll find out on Monday. Ball over the top, which is dealt with by Pantasopoulos under pressure from Belima. Sainsbury. His route towards Stormroo was blocked by Bozidar Kraev. Turned back by Bonatic for Lawrence Thomas. This is Pantasopoulos. Into the channel for the run of Marcus Antonsson. He just went down a little too easily there, the Swede. Judged to be a fairly contested ball and a Mariners throw. Mariners away record this season, not too bad. 4-1 loss to Sydney, their first on the road this season. To go with 2 wins and a couple of draws. It's really in Gosford that they've had problems, a bit similar to the Wanderers here in Parramatta. Borrello manages to adjust the feet well to find Clisby, who clips it in. It's a fraction too high for Kraev. And the Mariners should be able to play out through Mikael Docker here on the right.
That was good play, wasn't it, from what the Wanderers down the left-hand side. Jack Clisby looked up and saw 3 or 4 red shirts, really working hard to get into the box.
Sainsbury just directing his teammates as to where he wants them to go. Paul. Kaltak, who was rather uncharacteristically sloppy against Sydney last time out. Only Trent Sainsbury made a mistake as well, which led to one of the Adrian Segacic goals. Kaltak, normally so cool, calm and composed, he gave the ball away a few times.
Yeah, and I think that's been the story over the past few weeks for him. I think you could probably look back over the past 2 seasons and say that you could count on one hand how many times he's given the ball away in dangerous areas. Well, something's gone awry this year. Sometimes when things aren't going your way, just that little bit of pressure can have a big impact.
Again, there's a bit of talk during the January window that Kaltak's a little unsettled. Whether it's just rumours or not, we don't know. Meantime, Alfie McCalmonts has admitted defeat against that knee injury, and Mark Jackson is going to have to make an early change. That's a blow for the Mariners.
Well, it's a big blow. We'll go back here. It's not that challenge there, it's this one here. Both players in strong. Just a little late.
Well, Hayne Eames has been ready to go for the last 2 or 3 minutes just in case. And he is a like-for-like replacement, but yeah, that's a worry for the Central Coast Mariners in the middle of this run of away games. They go to Wellington next. And I'll tell you what, Mackie, you don't want to be on a plane to New Zealand when you've got a swollen knee.
No, not at all. It's always a difficult trip across to New Zealand. And we know he's such a young talent, Eames is, but the experience of McCalmont, that is something that the physios will have to be on top of.
Well, McCalmont is way down the tunnel for further assessment, and Hayne Eames is on for his 10th A-League appearance. Not bad for a 16-year-old. Sent forward by Clisby. Towering win in the air by Kaltak. He got so high there, Brian Kaltak. He was almost double the size of his opponent. Sainsbury. Back with Kaltak. Bit of space here for Trent Sainsbury. Paul angles it out towards Theoharis. Wanderers now looking to press. Triage Cullen forced into going long. Mikael Docker never really much of a chance to win it in the air. Steady down though for Harrison Steele here for the Mariners. Storm Road. Eames. Paul. And Theoharis. 4 in the box for the Mariners. If Theoharis can make an angle. Broke kindly for Eames. Slung in now by Nathan Paul. Might drop the way of Alu Kwal. That's a great finish. Got a second bite at the cherry. It's only his 3rd goal of the season, and all 3 have come against the 2 big Sydney clubs. Mariners 1-0.
Well, that is a great finish from Alu Kwal. It was kept alive on the Harvey Norman replay by De Lima, and as the ball goes in, he fights well. Doesn't quite get the luck on the first contact. You see here as the ball comes in, it's blocked well on the first, but he reacts quickest and he finishes across Lawrence Thomas. That's a great finish into the bottom corner. Great reactions. Gets the second bite of the apple. And he takes it with glee.
Low and hard across the keeper. The perfect finish. Into 6-game scoring drought. That's goal number 15 in 71 A-League matches. And on the balance of the early stages of play, Mackett, you'd say the Mariners probably a good value for that.
Yeah, I'd agree. Haven't seen too much down the other end. That one opportunity, Clisby crossing it in, but it looked good in the opening moments of this match. One thing I did like about the goal, Simon, was we spoke about in the pre-game the little moments. The Mariners pressing on the ball, second balls trying to get pressure on. De Lima kept that ball alive. It came in, wasn't there, and he managed to keep it alive and recycle it. And then the reaction again from Kwal after the initial block. Quick off the mark and a good finish.
Theoharis skipping clear of Carluccio. Now here's Docker driving forward with support from Storm Root. 2 weight in the box. Ball is 1. Out it pops. Hayne Eames. Good try. Well held by Lawrence Thomas.
Well, again, as the ball comes in, Alu Kwal does just enough to put off the West Sydney defence. Doesn't allow the clearance to be put downfield. They've kept the pressure on again, the Mariners.
It's the 24th goal that Wanderers have conceded this season. They've scored 28, of course. We know they've got plenty of firepower, but at the moment just a little bit disjointed from the home side. One in midfield by Brillante, and then a little bit of miscommunication. Out it pops for a throw. Brillante. Caltac there ahead of Borello. Carluccio scrapping for it. Hammond takes over. This looks more promising for the Wanderers. And Caltac got back goal side and got between attacker and goalkeeper. Really well defended.
We saw just a little glimpse of the attacking prowess of Wanderers there. Good movement off the ball, good delivery in as well, but as you say, Mariners looking assured in defence tonight.
Docker. Caltac. Mariners happy to slow things down for a moment or two. Sainsbury advancing forward. Clip over the top. It's nicely worked this. Here's Mikael Docker. Stop and a prop. Here's Hayne Eames. Back post is Christian Theoharis. And around the outside, Theoharis, and across the face. Stretching was Stormer, who just couldn't quite reel it in. But again, the Mariners threatening.
They look very confident tonight, don't they? Moving the ball around well.
De Lima. It's going to be a goal kick. And watching on tonight, current Socceroos boss, and I guess you could say the ghost of Wanderers past, Tony Popovic's presence still looms large over these parts. There's one of the players he might be watching, Brandon Borello. And he's just been fouled by potentially another, Trent Sainsbury.
He did well, Borello, there, just to get the touch. Sainsbury saying, yep, he was just a bit too quick for me.
There's the big names on the bench. Messrs Mata, Milanovic and Sapsford. Great strength and depth that Alan Stajic has in reserve tonight if required. See if they can force the other goalkeeper into some real work. Lawrence Thomas has certainly been the busier of the two. Free kick for the Mariners to defend here. Lisby runs over it. Lante with the false start. Now we're good to go. Off the head of Eames. Falls the way of Kryev. It's just too far for Oscar Priestman. And that gives us the chance to go down to Neve Owens. Neve, you spoke to Alan Stajic about that defensive record. He wasn't too keen to talk about it, but it's still there again, isn't it?
Do you know what? He was in very good form, Simon, and well might he be. I mean, they've only lost one of their last 7, so he's able to have a little laugh about it afterwards. He's certainly looking at the positives, and I'm sure Wanderers fans are as well. Scoring goals for fun at the moment. They could do with a little bit of that tonight. It's been interesting watching the Mariners head back to that back three this evening, and Sainsbury super vocal there in the back line. A lot of communication between him and Jacko on the sideline. Also between Mark Jackson and Theoharis, who's here on that left edge, as they look to get their positioning spot on defensively tonight.
Thanks, Neve. Yeah, Mark Jackson always very vocal coach. He's not too keen on sitting down, is he? Some coaches are, but I don't think Mark Jackson is. There he is, along with Danny Schofield, is number 2.
Setting the world to rights together there, aren't they?
I guess if Alfie McCalmont's injury is severe, then the need for new players is even more crucial. Borrello threads it through. Antonsen! Really good block by Parajic Cullen, although it was straight at him. And the Wanderers' best moment. Now the Mariners spring forwards. Arthur De Lima trying to give Mikael Docker an option. The back heel is for Hayne Eames. They've got plenty in this attack, the Mariners, but comes off the right peg of De Lima inadvertently. But here's that Wanderers' chance at the other end.
Well, it was good movement from Antonsen off the shoulder of Sainsbury on the outside. Borrello with a good ball, and the first touch was good. Just drags it out onto his left foot, and Dylan Parajic Cullen does very well to stand up.
Back to the Mariners in midfield by Eames. Midway point of the first half. Wanderers just a little slow out of the blocks, and they've been punished already by the men from Gosford. It's a poor giveaway by Sainsbury. Priestman. Antizopoulos. Priestman again. Bonnetti. Antizopoulos. Looking for Borrello, who protects it well. Looking to get busy, Brandon Borrello. Kriev, heavy pressure from De Lima, and Kriev has stayed down. Play will continue. It's too far in advance. Borrello tied it up by Sainsbury. Kriev just about now back to his feet. Ready to pick up this loose ball here. Feels for handball by the Mariners, not heeded. Kriev's determination gets the ball back for the red and black. Priestman. Brillante. Hammond. Carluccio. Antizopoulos. Nice ball into that little pocket of space for Aidan Hammond. This ball was there to be won by Borrello, and he did. Great feet by Hammond. Here's Brandon Borrello. It was brilliantly done apart from the finish. And Trent Sainsbury got back in the nick of time for the Mariners.
Well, it was brilliantly done, even with the finish, but Trent Sainsbury had read it and got back well. Look at the feet in tight areas. That's a wonderful ball. Exquisite little finish, but Trent Sainsbury doing what good centre-backs should do and covering his keeper.
Well, it's taken the Wanderers a little while, but they're starting to stir.
Starting to warm up a little bit, aren't they, going forward, as we see the foul from Paul.
So a set piece for the Wanderers. 6 of the last 10 goals the Mariners have conceded have come from crosses. So this could be interesting. In the end, it's not going to be a cross. Now it might be. Paul steps in front of his opponent. All that rather leaves me with the impression that was somewhat wasted.
I tend to agree. Yeah, bodies forward. Move off the training park. It didn't really come to fruition. Characteristic error from Josh Brillante at the end. just relieves the pressure a little bit. You could feel it building on the Mariners.
Have kept just 2 clean sheets this season. They were both in the first 3 rounds, so not in their last 9. Given the Wanderers' record of scoring this season, you wouldn't imagine that that would be the end of the scoring as we cross back down to Neve again.
We've got Alfie McCalmont back on the sideline now, Shim, which is good to see. He's got that ice pack on the right knee. When he went off, he was holding the outside of his right knee, so maybe that lateral, collateral kind of ligament area. He's sitting on his lonesome at the moment as the rest of the bench are warming up at the far end of the park, but he is back out watching the game unfold.
You feel for him, Neve. You've got knee problems yourself, haven't you?
I feel like I know that area of the body a lot better this week than I did last week, Shim.
That's why we call you Neve. Oh, I think that was Macca's, wasn't it? Is that your line?
I'm not claiming that one, no. Someone got there first.
Grace Gill, I'm told, is the culprit. Carluccio gets clear of Theoharis. He's trying to wrestle his way in behind Nathan Paul. And there's a little bit of miscommunication there between Pariah, Cullen and Kaltak. And it leads to a Wanderers corner.
Yeah, a needless corner. It's great work again and muscling from Carluccio. Just see there, Pariah Cullen surely was calling. And they're the little things that we spoke about. Just little things when it's not going your way.
Bit of needless pressure invited. Clisby's delivery. Call at the near post. Priestman couldn't quite reach it. Back with Brillante. Carluccio. Antonsen. Trying to hang the cross up, but away by Steele. Only as far as Kraev. And there's an offside flag. Up against Marcus Antonsen.
Well, I like his movement tonight. Just off the shoulder of the defence. Just opening his body to receive passes. And he's causing a little bit of consternation for Trent Sainsbury.
Well, the first 20 minutes were very much in favour of the Mariners. Last 10, probably the reverse.
I'm just wondering if there's a little bit of jet lag on the Wanderers. Took them a little while to get going.
Turned by Kraev, equally so by Borello. It's a lovely threaded ball through. And Carluccio to hang up the cross, and Kraev met it. Couldn't get the direction.
Brandon Borello, the defence splitting pass. Look at that, right into the path. Carluccio can just walk straight onto it. It's in the good area. Kraev just couldn't quite angle the neck muscles.
First time ball by Docker for Steele. Now it's with Roux. It's been a lively opening half an hour. Thankfully the rain and the strong winds, not sure we'd feel them inside the stadium too much, but they've stayed away. It's like a false 9 this afternoon.
Well, I must admit, from our broadcast area, just on the first level, the wind was howling through, and then you walk down on the pitch side and it's almost still.
Yeah, you can tell by the corner flags there's too much movement. Oh, Pariah Cullen's got himself in a bit of a mess here. Just managed to sort out the feet. nick of time before he had it taken off his toe. That press of the Wanderers is worrying the Mariners. This time they get through it. Storm Roux. Beyond him is Alu Kuol. You can see 2 bits of rubbish that are blowing across the field, which is indicative that there is still a bit of a breeze around. Dock up. Eames. He's done well, Hayne Eames. The heavy pressure there. Sainsbury. Thought about the crossfield switch for Theoharis. Now they will go in that direction. Kaltak. Sainsbury. Theoharis. Awkward one to control. Kaltak hanging it up for Storm Roux. Hayne Eames in the 50-50 with Pantazopoulos, and actually it's Delima, my apologies, who then fouled Oscar Priestman.
He's not afraid to get the tackles in. Here's another look at Parage Cullen, just got himself all in a muddle under the press. He was very lucky that it just fell kindly for him to clear it away.
Punched out wide for Clisby. Square by Priestman for Brillante. Now Carluccio. Hammond. Partly away by Eames. Everybody behind the ball for the Mariners. Priestman. Carluccio. Slipped by Nathan Paul. Patient build-up by the Wanderers. Bonatic. Looking for Hammond arriving at the back post, and it flicked off the head of Nathan Paul and behind for a corner.
Well, it was a ball into a decent area. Nathan Paul, he got all his angles right.
Stajic will be pleased with the response by his team after falling behind. Clisby's corner. Near post dealt with by Kuol. All the way back to Lawrence Thomas by Oscar Priestman. Lawrence Thomas, who's kept just the one clean sheet this season. All over the top is always going to favour the goalkeeper. It's in the Wanderers 2-0 away win at Melbourne City, by the way. Otherwise, they've been free scoring but free conceding as the rain starts to sheet down here in Parramatta. I tempted fate, didn't I, Macca?
Spoke too soon, Simon. Corner flags are starting to move as well.
It's been that sort of a day in Sydney. Just see a crack of lightning there. Hope not. Was it a change in the LED display?
Please tell me there's a change in the LEDs. Well, I know we've got a long time left in this match, and there's been plenty of talk about there'll be goals, conditions, and the Wanderers are going forward. The last time these two met, finished 1-0, both times to the Mariners.
Yep, meeting here last season, won by a brilliant goal from now departed Marco Tullio. I think it was his last game, actually, wasn't it? As a foul on Theoharis.
Now they'd like to have that Marco Tullio back, eh? What a player he was.
Any transfer rumours surrounding the Mariners that you're aware of, Macca?
Not at all.
Coming players?
No, not at all. No. That doesn't mean that there aren't things happening. I just haven't heard any.
They will certainly be looking, no doubt about that. Wanderers have got a player down, so Alex King is just going to go and check on the welfare of Alex Bonitic here. Just got an errant shoulder to the jaw, didn't he? Accidental, but it hurts.
Yeah, it was a good battle from both players. Both eyes on the ball. And very hard but fair, and he just copped it right on the jaw, the shoulder at the last moment there. When you talk about the transfer rumours, Simon, there's a certain player sitting at Sydney who's not bad in the attacking domain. He's been frozen out in Max Burgess, who you would think might be a real fit.
To be fair, that is what we have heard.
Yeah.
Also heard him linked with one or two other clubs as well, so who knows? Two of the injured players. The stands. Priestman. Just one-touch football from the Wanderers. Antonsen. Lucio. Bonitic. Latte. Lucio. Looking for that ball around the corner for Hammond. They have found Aidan Hammond now. Oh, lovely skill by the winger. And fires it across with pace, and Parachkala could only palm it away. Back in by Clisby. Who will the bouncing ball favour? It's with Hammond again. It's all a bit tight in there for the Wanderers. And the Mariners can look to launch a counter. Theoharis looking for Alu Kual. It's not a bad ball, but Lawrence Thomas with good anticipation.
Well, these next 5 minutes, I know it's obvious, but it's crucial for the Mariners to see this first half out without conceding. The game has swayed a bit into Western Sydney's favour. They've had to soak up a little bit of pressure.
They can pull. Theoharis. Paul again. To the last 5 minutes of the first half. Sainsbury's ball, I'm pretty sure, was intended for somebody else other than Alan Kual, but he made it his. Then overcooked the pass for Theoharis.
It was just sloppy, wasn't it? He had time on the ball. Just dropped off the back line and just off balance, poor touch.
Talking of transfers, Macca, as we have been throughout. Good to see Garant Quall back in training after his quad injury. Alu's brother, of course, with Newcastle. He could do with a loan move. January.
There was talk that he was going to get that move, wasn't there? His manager was asked what his future lies, and he said, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Doesn't sound too positive.
Maybe the Mariners could team the two Qualls up together. Antonsson, lovely touch by the Swede. Kraev, just too high for Antonsson the cross. Certainly working hard enough. There's a little bit of off the ball contact there between Kraev and Quall, and Quall has stayed down. Be interesting to see on the replay. Alex King stops play now. Mariners want to have a little chat with Alex King. Let's have another look at this. Yeah, it's nothing more than just, it's a bump.
Yeah, well, he actually steps across Kraev, doesn't he, to block him going. It's just two bodies coming together.
Heading in two different directions. Nothing too much in that, although Alu Quall certainly thought so. By the way, the rumour mill has started that the Mariners are interested in Abdullah Faisal from Perth Glory.
The phone running hot, is it, Simon?
Might be. Here's De Lima. It's got away from Pantasopoulos. Here's Alu Quall. Just couldn't set himself. Otherwise, it could have been 2-0. Long clearance by Lawrence Thomas and Kaltak and Borello. Kaltak coming out on top. Rue spotted that run of Hayne Eames, but so too did Josh Brillante for the Wanderers. This is only the third time this season that the Mariners have scored the first goal in an A-League match. They've won both the previous two. Is that an omen? Still a long way to go in this game. Here's the sprightly Aidan Hammond. He goes down in the box. No appeal for a penalty, at least on the field. And it's a goal kick.
Well, they have looked sharp down this right-hand side, haven't they, with Hammond and Carluccio. As we see Brendan Borello putting his body on the line and asking Kaltak some questions.
Yeah, I think Borello's eyes were more on Kaltak than the ball, to say the least. It's the way he plays the game, Brandon Borello. Wholehearted. Leaves nothing in the dressing rooms. Talking of which, we're less than 2 minutes away now as we move into stoppage time. We're on the half-time team talks. I think both coaches have been encouraged in large part from what they've seen. The Wanderers would like a goal. The Mariners probably would like to be playing a little bit further up the field.
Yeah, agreed. I heard Stad say before the game, as long as his team scores more goals, he's not really bothered about the other end. Maybe not to that degree, but at the moment, They're pressing, they're asking some questions. They've had one cleared off the line. They haven't had the joy that he would have desired.
Here's that press again for the Wanderers. Oh, that's a strange ball from Theoharis, but Paraich Cullen will prevent it from going out from a corner. And Hayne Eames sent it long, and Alu Kuol will win it in the air, and the Mariners could be in here. Docker with De Lima, and he was just off balance at the point of contact and got underneath it. But a lightning quick break from very nearly conceding a corner at the wrong end.
Yeah, it was a great transition play. Alu Kuol again causing problems in that back line. And De Lima just falling away as he tried to swing the leg through it. Well, that's the thing with both of these defences. They have copped up goals this season. And it's simple as that. From one end to the other, it was another chance.
Sainsbury, I think, felt that Theoharis was in his usual spots, but he wasn't that far upfield.
Well, he must have seen a yellow shirt in the crowd because Theoharis was nowhere to be seen.
Half-time almost upon us. That's going to be a free kick for the Wanderers. Your assessment of the opening 45, Macca?
Well, I think Mark Jackson will be quite happy with the way his team have gone about things. Got the early goal, defended pretty well under 20 to 25 minutes of pressure.
Yeah, plenty of industry from both, but it's Alan Stajic who has the trickier half-time team talk, and here's the reason why. His goal divides the teams, scored in the 13th minute from Nathan Paul's assist. He wants to continue the conversation with Alex King about that coming together with Bojidar Kraev, who had one of three decent chances for the Wanderers at the other end. Miranda Borello had one cleared off the line by Trent Sainsbury. Marcus Anderson having one saved by Dylan Paraich Cullen. But at the break, it is the Mariners who lead in Parramatta. Western Sydney Wanderers 0, Central Coast Mariners 1.
before all of them, there was this one between Adelaide United and Melbourne Victory. The original rivalry. Valupale on his left foot. The save and Fornaroli. Kieran Kunda lets fly. Oh! Appeals for a handball, penalty given. It's Bruno. Original rivalry triumph for Melbourne Victory.
Well, when you need a goal, and the Wanderers do, you send your top scorer. Nicholas Milanovic is on for the second half for Western Sydney Wanderers, along with Zach Sapsford, who's also got 4 goals this season. Milanovic with 6. Mojidar Kraev and Marcus Antonsson, the two to make way as Alan Stajic makes his move at the start of the second half. No changes, or further changes, I should say, for the Mariners. Of course, Hayne Eames on for the injured Alfie McCalmont to the first half, but his goal still dividing the two teams. Alu Kuol with a strike on 13 minutes. The last 2 meetings between these two have both ended in 1-0 victories for the Central Coast Mariners, and with 45 to go, that's the situation we're in once again. Can the Wanderers turn this around, helped by those 2 changes, perhaps Daniel McBreen, and get rid of this, well, I guess it could be called a home curse. That was a foul, but advantage play, because Theoharis is inside the box, and it's going to be a Mariners corner. Macca, I'll let you get your breath.
Thanks, mate.
It's a long walk.
It is when the lift's slow as well.
Docker sending up the signal. Mariners attacking the end of the ground where their supporters are situated. Goes low along the floor for Theoharis. Docker, De Lima. Docker once again looking for Nathan Paul. Janovich had him well marked.
I've got my breath now, Simon.
That's good. That always helps in commentary. Thomas having to be smart.
Well, it's the kind of changes we thought may happen in the second half. Would we see them at half-time? Stajic saying, well, we need to freshen it up with the other danger men on the park.
Still got one matter up his sleeve, of course, but Sapsford and Milanovic, two half-time changes. Here's Zach Sapsford with a back heel, bringing Jack Clisby into play. Decent delivery too, back post. The shot was charged down. Jared Carluccio looking to score on his second Wanderers debut. Pantazopoulos. Hammond calling for it. Instead it goes for Carluccio. And a Wanderers throw. Priestman. Back wide for Carluccio. He's in position to put in the cross, and Sapsford climbed well. Came off the top of the head and went in the wrong direction. Good start to the second half by the red and black. Hammond. Carluccio. Straight at the goalkeeper. It's good to go down to Neve Owens again, who's had word from Alan Stajic during the half-time break. Neve?
Yeah, you mentioned, Jim, that his was the harder of the team talks at half-time. He had a message to the boys, really wants to see more intensity, wants their attacking positions to be better, and has asked for more pressure on the ball in this second half. We also mentioned in the pre-game we're expecting another signing announcement out of the Mariners over the next couple of days. We heard today that Mo Altay has been released from Wellington Phoenix. He's heading back to Sydney for family reasons, and I think we'll hear over the course of the weekend that it is Altay, a Western Sydney boy. He made his debut for the Wanderers back in 2017. Another signing for Alan Stajic's side that we'll hear in the coming days.
Now a fully fledged Iraqi international, of course, as well, Mohamed Altay.
Well, there were some rumours floating around that he was heading maybe to Iraq to play in their league. I'm sure he'll be happy to be back in the West of Sydney. And Western Sydney dipping into the transfer market, using the window well to strengthen their squad.
Of course, they do have Dylan Shikluna on the long-term injury list in that area of the park, so a bit of competition for the likes of Priestman and Brillante and Juan Mata. Different sort of players, of course. Morello just reaching for that one. First 5 minutes of the second half have been played almost entirely in the Mariners' half of the field. Good strength by Sainsbury. Steele. Theoharis. Nice little drop of the shoulder to get the Mariners moving forwards. Docker. And he's in position for the return. This is promising for the Central Coast. Theoharis, top of the box is Steele. Rue. Theoharis. Nathan Paul. He's had a shot. And then the cross completely overhit.
a little disappointing in the end. Some nice build-up play. It's a little scrappy in the final ball there, De Lima.
The rain continuing to come down here at Combank Stadium. And the forecast not that much better. The other two games in Sydney this weekend, Sydney-Brisbane tomorrow, and maybe a bit better for Macarthur-Wellington on Monday. Here's Milanovic meantime. Ball's header finding De Lima. He can't make progress. Spin by Borrello. Puts it out in front of Clisby. Stormaroo had a bit more time than that.
Well, he did. Probably could have pulled it down and picked his pass. If that's the mindset at the moment, a little bit of pressure building. Plenty of crosses put in from Western Sydney at the start of this second half. The other team that came into this match with the most successful crosses from open play. Looking to add to that tonight.
Milanovic trying to reward that earlier good work from Borrello. Quite able to do so. Sainsbury to clear up fields. Run well in the air by Pantasopoulos. And it's a bit of a case of anywhere will do at the moment for the Mariners as they try and weather this little Wanderers storm. Win for the Mariners tonight would move them up into 9th spot on the ladder above Wellington. Just a point behind the Wanderers in 8th. Little touch by Sapsford, finds its way through here for Milanovic. Borrello off balance. And ultimately off target with the pass. This is the As Live ladder. It stays this way. Wanderers will miss out on the chance of joining Sydney and Macarthur on 21 points, bottom end of the 6. Western United went up to 3rd with a win over Newcastle earlier by 3-1. Another 2 goals for Noah Botic. He's having a good season.
Well, Western United as a team are having a great season, aren't they?
Docker with the cutback. Ball couldn't reach it and has to chase back. And for all the Wanderers' pressure, the Mariners, it's the same the back end of the first half, just have those little moments where there are openings for them.
Well, the way both these defences have been this season, how generous they've been, you can't really write out off either team scoring, can you? I feel like there's more goals, but I couldn't tell you which one's going to find the back of the net.
Well, crucially, Alu Paul has. That's why at the moment it's the Mariners' game to lose. It's a foul by Jack Clisby. Straight through Mikael Docker. Alex King has kept his cards in his pocket tonight. No yellows issued as yet. Sainsbury. That's a lovely ball with the outside of the boot. Stormaroo away. And here's Mikael Docker. It's well defended by Bonatig. Brave defending too.
Read it well, didn't he? Got across. You spoke about Alex King. He has let the game go tonight, hasn't he? Let it flow. There's been some really solid challenges without anything being really...
Brian Kaltak's just said to Trent Sainsbury, anything you can do in terms of passing, I can do better. It's a lovely release. Nathan Paul. Theoharis. Mariners content to just slow the game down a bit, take some of the sting out of this early second half onslaught from the Wanderers. It goes into the rainy Sydney evening. Steele with time. Little clip over the top and Allen falls after it, but again, good anticipation by Lawrence Thomas. Risky ball by Bonatig after his earlier good work. The Wanderers have got to track back. It's Christian Theoharis. Step overs going across the face. Goodness me, that was close. And you could tell by the Mariners players' reactions it was close.
Well, he had one thing on his mind here, didn't he? A couple of step overs on the outside. It's a tight angle, but he almost finds that bottom corner.
Here's Docker. Just nudged off balance by Milanovic, and the Wanderers get moving. Being urged on by the home crowd. Sapsford's delivery steered away by Kaltak. And the game becoming a little stretched.
Well, as we saw that play unfold towards the Mariners' end and then back down the other, there's just a huge hole in midfield. It's like an attack versus defence on each end.
Through into the path of Docker. Docker's going to go for goal. Good save, Lawrence Thomas. Scooped away by Priestman. A couple of good chances for the Mariners.
Soaked up a bit of pressure. They did this against Brisbane a couple of games ago, where they sat back, they soaked up some pressure, and then they had a sting in the tail.
At the moment, the Mariners, who perhaps look more likely to add to their one-goal advantage. Wanderers have scored in 18 consecutive A-League matches since they lost 7-0 to Melbourne City at the back end of last season, but they're finding the going tough here this evening. It's a poor giveaway though by De Lima. Sapsford. Lucio not going to reach that, or he shouldn't have done. Mistake by Nathan Paul, which he atones for, but illegally. And it's going to be a Wanderers free kick.
It was just a little sloppy from Nathan Paul there. You can see just a grab of the shirt to pull him back.
No way through for Carluccio. And there was a foul in there, but Alex King's played an advantage. Not sure Arthur De Lima particularly wanted it, because he's got no help. He decides to drive for the byline. Nobody's gone with him. Qual. Hammonds can't break clear. It's a bit like wading through treacle at the moment for the Wanderers.
Yeah. And again, it's like tired legs from both teams. When one team attacks, it's a huge space in midfield, and then there's almost like a 5v5 at the other end of the field.
Mistake by Sainsbury, but Kaltak gets him out of that little spot of bother. Of course, the Mariners had a midweek game as well. This is the third of 5 games consecutively on the road for the Central Coast. Travel does take it out of you, even if it's only down the motorway. Now they've got the chance to spring forward. Bit of open field. The Hay needs to attack. Mikael Docker. Storm Roux on the right. De Lima at the back post. Well, maybe that was a better option for Storm Roux.
Again, plenty of space. Docker made the run. Saw the inside on the left foot. Doesn't get many goals, Storm Roux.
There's the Mariners' next 5 trips to Wellington and then Western United. Difficult ones both before they finally get a home game on the 1st of February. With Newcastle Jets, the visitors for the F3 derby. And it's back on the road to Perth. Goodness me, it's a tough schedule that, isn't it? Change coming for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Aidan Hammond to take his leave, and Aidan Simmons is his replacement. He's been out for a while with injury, Aidan Simmons. Only played 6 minutes this season against Western United. Still no sign of Guanamata.
Well, they need a creative spark, don't they, Western Sydney?
There is the Spanish legend. Off down the tunnel. Toilet break, perhaps. Wanderers throw. Harrison Steele given a bit of a hospital ball there by his teammate Nathan Paul. They've negotiated the opening stages of the second half quite comfortably, the Mariners, and by rights might have had a goal themselves at the other end. Clisby. Sapsfords straight into Storm Roux. And Steele looking to launch a counter, but Pantazopoulos with the intervention. Aidan Simmons forming a new partnership down that right-hand side with Jared Carluccio. Bonatic. Not quite happening for the red and black.
No, it's not. No real fluidity moving the ball. Mariners, when they get in their block, are very compact.
He's got to try and find the answers. They always come in expectation. Don't always get their reward. Driving run through midfield from Hayne Eames is Arthur De Lima. Theoharis felt that he'd strayed into an offside position, didn't bother playing at the ball. We're going to see a double change for the Central Coast Mariners. Christian Theoharis to be replaced by Vitor Feijão. And Arthur De Lima will make way for the reintroduction to the Mariners of Ryan Edmondson. (4-4-2).
Well, I was just looking to see. Edmondson was pointing just gesticulating, but it would appear that that would be the case.
Quall and Edmondson up top. Good strong target then for the Mariners to have as outlets. Wanderers thought they had the free kick there, but it's gone the other way, I think, for offside. Given away by Brian Kaltak. Bonneting. Priestman. Clisby. Just all a bit laboured for the Wanderers. Edmondson. Happy to take the throw off Priestman. 2 shots on target the whole game for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Not quite the free-flowing red and black that we predicted.
And just 4 shots overall as well.
Those 2 on target shots came midway through the first half as well. Antonsen forcing the save out of Paraich Cullinan. One from Brandon Borello, cleared off the line by Sainsbury as Quall wrestles clear of his opponent. Feijão, I think that was intended as a cross. It ended up though testing Lawrence Thomas.
It was great work in the lead-up. Quall lays the ball in his path, and you see he just has a look there. He's just got it all wrong. Edmondson was making the run to the near post. He's just come off the side of his foot, really.
The Mariners continue to press for what would be a crucial second goal. Whole crowd of players in the 6-yard box. And Alan Quall got there ahead, all of them. And Sainsbury claiming the goal, but not given. Still alive for Docker. And Edmondson does score. And that might be enough for the Central Coast Mariners. It's his first goal since scoring in the grand final against Melbourne Victory last season. And the Mariners have a big chance of a big 3 points in Parramatta.
Well, Lawrence Thomas doesn't look happy. They certainly gave the Mariners enough opportunities on the Harvey Norman replay. First, it was Alu Quall. Trent Sainsbury had a chance. It was cleared off the line, and then it's a wonderfully clipped-in ball. And Edmondson, free as a bird, 6 yards out. Puts it away. You see 2 opportunities there for the Mariners. Docker just hangs it in the air, really, doesn't he? And Edmondson is just free to put it where he likes. He chooses the bottom corner, and there's nothing Lawrence Thomas could do about that one. And we said that goals would come, but we didn't know where. Well, the Mariners have given us something to talk about.
Well, Mark Jackson urging focus now. He knows that his substitution has paid dividends and that they've got a big chance now to claim the Wanderers scalp. It is the 8th time in 13 games this season that the Wanderers have conceded multiple goals in an A-League match. And although Alan Stadgic wasn't particularly keen to talk about it, you've got to say the Wanderers just never looked desperate enough to defend that corner. They were second best at each moment. Here goes Vitor Feijão. The Mariners perhaps in the mood for more. Held up by Simmons. Back through Nathan Paul. Docker. Floated forward looking for Feijão, and it will reach him via the the outstretched boot of Carluccio. And the Mariners look in full control here.
Well, the problem is when you're conceding goals is that if your attack isn't firing, you've got no chance to take anything from the match.
Docker. Cute ball for Edmondson. Here's Alukola queuing up the Mariners. Before eventually Pantazopoulos, I think, got a foot in. And the Wanderers hanging on by their fingernails. That's a foul by Nathan Paul. And finally, Alex King's patience has run out. And he's going to issue the first yellow card of the night.
Well, what about the time and space both Edmondson and then Quoll had in the box? No, they didn't fashion a goal from there. Pantazopoulos recovered and just got the body in the way before Nathan Paul commits the foul at the other end.
Now, before this free kick can be taken, we're going to see another Wanderers change. Jared Carluccio's second Wanderers debut is over. And boy, do the Wanderers need the genius of Juan Mata as the rain gets even heavier. They've got a free kick here. Less than 20 minutes for the Wanderers to try and turn this one around. Priestman. It's a poor ball by Oscar Priestman. They've had too many of those tonight. And Edmondson steams forward. He has Feijão to his left if he can find him. Here is Vitor Feijão. Can he finish? Wanted an extra touch. And that allowed Pantazopoulos to get back and rescue the Wanderers. That would have been game over.
Yeah, without a doubt. You have to give credit to Jack Clisby here. Got across, got his body there and allowed the reinforcements to get back.
The ball from Edmondson was just slightly behind the Brazilian. Just bought the Wanderers that crucial extra fraction of a second. Now, can Western Sydney defend this corner better than they did the last? Again, it's Mikael Docker to take. Similar sort of situation in the 6-yard box. Similar sort of delivery. And Thomas hasn't taken it. But there's a foul on the goalkeeper. They normally get the benefit of the doubt, don't they?
I knew you were going to say that. I must admit, I didn't think there was too much wrong in the challenge.
No.
This one will give us a better perspective. There's nothing wrong with that for me for Nathan Paul. He's going up with his head.
You've got to be able to challenge for the ball.
Yeah, exactly. His arms are down by his side.
Clisby couldn't quite thread the needle, thanks to Storm Roux. Eames ran into trouble in the shape of Borrello. Mata, a little bit too high for Brillante, and Pereich Cullen out to claim. Bit of collateral damage as well, I think. Storm Roux taking a heavy tumble.
Just see, he gets his body across, he gets the knee to the tailbone, I think, from Brillante. The game seems to be in a moment where you still can't pick what's going to happen. At any moment you feel the Mariners could score at one end and kill the game off, but if the Wanderers can fashion something at the other.
Well, that's the big if, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because second half, I don't know about you, Macca, but my sheet is blank in terms of Wanderers' attacks.
Well, we got one shot, none on target in the second half.
A yellow card has been issued. Somebody in Mariners' technical zone. Danny Schofield, we're told, or is it Josh? That's Josh Rose.
They look similar these days,
Yeah.
Danny Schofield and Josh Rose. I think they've been going to the same barber.
We're told it was Danny Vukovic who got the caution.
What do we know?
He's even trying to join it as well with the tash. Simmons. Mata. Delante. An errant touch. It could be costly for the Wanderers. Feijão. Oof. It was nothing disguised about that foul from Pantazopoulos, and Harry Steele in particular was very, very angry about it. Easy yellow card for Alex King to issue. That was blatant.
Well, it was blatant, but I think the reaction from Harry Steele is way over the top. And if that had connected with one of the players, you could have been in a bit of trouble when you've got your team to a decent position, 2-0 up, 15 to go. There's no real need to get involved.
Alex King saying to Mikael Docker, "I'll sort this out, thank you." Trent Sainsbury's just there, just to make sure that Harrison Steele doesn't talk himself into any further bother. I mean, there's no doubt it's a foul and a yellow card. It's a cynical challenge.
Yeah.
But then Harrison Steele follows up and tries to kick the ball at full pelt at Pantazopoulos.
Yeah, I think Alex King, if my lip reading is correct, pretty much said exactly what we said. It was a swipe, it was a yellow card. If you hit someone with that ball when you kicked it, Harry, I might have had to send you off. As I said, there was no need.
Confirmation of the yellow card for Anthony Pantazopoulos, which is his third of the season. And similar for Harrison Steele, booking number 3 of the campaign. This little injury break only adding to the frustration of the Wanderers fans. You can hear one or two of them in the background. Josh Delante is about to take his leave, and he's going to be replaced by the more attack-minded James Temelkovski. They've got to go for broke, the Wanderers, in the last 10 minutes or so. It's his 5th appearance off the bench. Former Marconi Stallion striker is yet to get off the mark in red and black. Now would be an opportune moment. First time ball by Roux, finds Edmondson. Nice little shift of the football for Steele. Harrison Steele going to have a go. Well, that's the confidence of a player who's scored in his last 2 games.
That was like the last time he just smacked the ball right into the stand.
What has happened to the Wanderers' fluency in attack? Is it too easy to just say, well, the travel has killed them?
Well, I think that will have a major factor. Get that red-eye flight. The idea is you're supposed to get sleep on the way back, but seldom do players sleep on that flight. And I always found when we did that, a couple of days later, you were still really trying to...
Yeah. I've done it as a commentator, and that's difficult enough. 10 minutes to go. Mariners defended very well as a unit this evening, particularly in the second half. They've almost completely blunted the home side, but there's still time. Borello. Nathan Paul reading that one. Mata. Clever ball. Sapsford's. Feijão not shirking his defensive duty. Kaltak to belt it forward. Rain's just got heavier again. Wanderers within 10 minutes of suffering a 4th home defeat out of 7 this season, which is nowhere near good enough for a team with top 6 and maybe even better aspirations. Simmons, Mata looking for the 1-2 with Simmons. It still might work out all right for them. Wouldn't sit for Temilkovski. Back out with Clisby. Milanovic finds the gap for Temilkovski. Temilkovski wants too many touches. Just couldn't settle on an option. And Docker races clear. Talked about the Wanderers, Smacker, but is this a result, if it stays this way, of course, that represents something that can really be built upon for the Central Coast? Now, Mikael Docker had the arms flailing there, so it's going to be a free kick for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
You just see more of a slap in the face. Priestman, Mikael Docker. Swinging the arm, just putting it out really, it's protection.
Milanovic, out again by Nathan Paul. Priestman. Have to turn back out, come back through Bonatig and Pantazopoulos. Simmons. That sort of sums up the Wanderers' night, well, certainly their second half.
Has been lacking that real cohesion as a team. We like to see them bouncing that ball around, quick movement, fluent motions from Western Sydney, but it hasn't been there tonight. And you have to say, as you posed the question, Simon, partly down to the way the Mariners have played as well. Defensively, they've been fantastic. At times, they've put their foot on the ball when needed to, slowed the game down. They've looked dangerous at times on attack.
Ryan Edmondson giving one of his teammates a bit of a spray there. Wanderers will be back here on the 26th of January for their next home game against Auckland. And it's Brisbane away and the Sydney Derby away. This inconsistency, despite all the goals that they've scored, is why they have not been in the top 6 for a single week this season. Simmons. Good turn. Sapsford. Is this the moment? Back heel didn't quite work out for Borello. Back out with Mata. Good ball. There's the goal. James Temilkovski. A maiden A-League goal for the off-season signing for Marconi Stallions. And now perhaps we have a game on our hands for the last 5 minutes or so. The Wanderers on the board. What a ball by Mata.
Well, on the Harvey Norman replay, you said it, Simon. What a ball by Juan Mata. Plenty of bodies in the box. He just pulls it back onto that trusty left foot and picks out Temilkovski with a delightful ball. He just drifted off the shoulder of Trent Sainsbury and guides it away. And don't write them off.
Well, it maintains their record of having scored in every game this season. And it was all about the assist from Juan Mata. But is it too little, too late for the Wanderers? They'll try and throw the kitchen sink at the Mariners these last few minutes. It's going to be a Mariners corner here, though, of Pantazopoulos. And you wouldn't think they'd be in much of a hurry to take it. Well, he's given them hope. He scored plenty in the NPL in New South Wales last season. 18 in 23 games for Marconi. And he's shown that if you give him the right service, he can score at this level too. Here's Docker's corner. It's an awkward one. Punched away well by Thomas. Little deft touch by Mata, and the break is on here. They spring forward, the Wanderers. It's Zach Sapsford, and he has Borrello. Here is Brandon Borrello. Can he finish? Off the line! Unbelievable. Harrison Steele, the hero for the Central Coast. From one end of the pitch to the other.
Well, it was a couple of great balls. And then Sapsford put it into the path of Borrello. And as it went past Parage Cullen, you thought for all money he'd drawn them level. But Harrison Steele, he hadn't given up. Sliding in. A last-ditch clearance to keep them in front. And he can't believe it.
Well, it's twice that Brandon Borrello's been denied by a goal line clearance. In the first half, it was Trent Sainsbury. And just now, Harrison Steele. But Mariners' hearts in mouths at that precise moment.
Well, that was the kind of Western Sydney attacking football we've seen throughout the year. It's the first real glimpse we've seen of it tonight. 87 minutes in.
Mariners are going to need nerves of steel. Thankfully, on that occasion, they had Harrison Steele. Clisby. Milanovic. New energy around the stadium now on the back of that goal. Priestman. Spots Aidan Simmons in space. Still Aidan Simmons, and still just got crowded out in the end.
And there's 10 Mariners players in their own box there defending. I'm not sure that dribbling through is going to be the key. I'll be proven wrong.
Borrello. Mata. Even the Spaniard gives the ball away sometimes. Even when you win the World Cup, it can happen. Here's Docker. Could the Mariners make it safe here? Fejal just about to set himself. There are some very tired bodies out there. And then a push in the back by Stormroo on Milanovic. Mariners are going to make a late change here. Alu Kuol is out of petrol. Sasha Kuzevsky to replace him for the final few minutes. He got the ball rolling for the Mariners today, though, on 13 minutes.
Well, he toiled hard again, as he always does. He never leaves anything out there. Himself a well-deserved goal today. It is first to react. Tucks it away in that bottom corner.
Having to work hard for the 3 points. The Mariners now. Mata pulling the strings. Sapsford finds the cross. Simmons wanted a touch. Shut down by the freshly arrived Sasha Kuzevsky. The ball's still in play. That's the sort of energy that Mark Jackson needs at this juncture.
Should have taken the strike first time.
Lifted in by Pantasopoulos. That should be the goalkeepers. Oh, he's dropped it. Sapsford. Another goal line clearance. This time the block by Brian Kaltak. The Mariners' goal leading a charmed life here. And Parage Cullen very nearly the villain.
Well, he had it and then he didn't. Kaltak just spread himself more in hope than anything else. Got the job done.
Last minute. Backed into stoppage time. Clisby's corner. Here's Juan Mata. The Wanderers desperate. Clisby. Back out it comes for Borrello. Mata appeals for handball. Borrello trying to chip in. Alex King's going to bring them back. Free kick. Juan Mata territory, you think.
where was this energy from the Wanderers in the previous 85 minutes? Ryan Mata is involved in everything at the moment.
Well, we're into the second minute of 5 additional. And this is a big, big moment. Dylan Bryage-Cullen, whose spill of the ball has really led to this. That is Bacon saved initially by Brian Kaltak. Maybe it's only temporary respite. Juan Mata standing by. Pantazopoulos there as well. They've got the draft excluder in too, the Mariners, just in case. Can Mata find a bit of magic here? Straight into the wall, and Kaltak hoofs it away. Still time, but not much of it for Western Sydney Wanderers. Priestman finds the gap. Temelkovski lost it initially, has it back. Mata into the box for Milanovic, on the volley, just wide. Goodness me. Anthony Pantazopoulos, but it took a deflection. And that must have been crucial to see it whistle past the post.
It was Nathan Paul. Got a foot on it. It was just enough.
Mata's corner. There's a scramble of bodies in there. And now the chase is on, and Mikael Docker's away. Simmons trying to catch him. Mikael Docker to finish it for the Mariners. Around the keeper. Game over. Mikael Docker's first A-League goal of the season. With just a couple of minutes left. And after all that panic, all that pandemonium in their own penalty box, they've gone up the other end and won it thanks to Mikael Docker.
Well, it's a funny game, football, isn't it? On the Harvey Norman replay, they are under immense pressure. 10 outfield players in their own box, and it breaks. And Mikael Docker, he had the pace and the composure to go around Thomas. And he tucks it away to give them the breathing space. They were under so much pressure. They've cleared 3 off their own line. And just like a scorpion, there's a sting in the tail, and look what it means to Mark Jackson and his coaching staff. He celebrates his young daughter, who's 10 days old today.
Well, it's only his 4th goal in the A-League. He is actually the Mariners' top scorer this season in all competitions with 4. All the other 3 have come in cup competitions. And I thought Mark Jackson was going to go all Jose Mourinho on us there for a moment. Thought he was going to do the knee slide in front of the Mariners fans at that end of the ground, who are now doing an impromptu Poznan. And the Wanderers are surely done for. But goodness me, it was on a knife edge, wasn't it, for a few minutes. Here's Milanovic. Routine stop that for Bryage-Cullen. And that should just about be that. Terrific end, though, to the game.
Oh, fantastic drama. This last 10 minutes has been very entertaining. I just think that Alan Stadger should be thinking, well, where was that for the remainder of the match? But credit to the Mariners. There's only, you would have thought only one team was going to score. They were hanging on for grim death.
On we go into the 6th minute of stoppage time. Kozewski, who made one very crucial block to head off Aiden Simmons when they were under that immense pressure. Looking perhaps to add a cherry on top for the Mariners, which would round out their week nicely, having lost 4-1 to Sydney. A 4-1 win here would go down very well with Mark Jackson, no doubt. There we go. It is a huge 3 points for the back-to-back champions. A win that keeps them in touch with the top 6. Disappointment for Wanderers, who miss out on their chance of closing the gap on the final spots. Mikael Docker easing the nerves after Juan Mata's introduction had given the Wanderers a real new lease of life. It is the Wanderers' 4th home defeat in 7 attempts. That must surely change if they are to challenge for the finals. But the Mariners don't care. Alu Kuol and Ryan Edmondson also on the score sheet. Just a late consolation, scored by James Temelkovsky for the Wanderers, who threw everything but the kitchen sink at the Mariners in their attempts to try and get level at 2-2. They had one cleared off the line by Harrison Steele, one blocked by Brian Kaltak. But in their bid to try and save the game, of course, as teams tend to do, they left the back gate open, and Mikael Docker duly punished them. A terrific end to a great contest in Parramatta. That's the final scoreline. Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Central Coast Mariners 3. Well, the Mariners will perhaps think that was more difficult than it should have been when they were 2-0 up. They had to dig deep. Great defensive effort all night, though, to halt what beforehand had been the free-scoring Western Sydney Wanderers. And in the end, Mikael Docker's goal in the 94th minute made the scoreline look a little bit more comfortable than perhaps it really was. Let's get some reaction then. One of the goal scorers, I think, is standing by with Neve Owens. Neve.
Ryan Edmondson, what an incredible finish. That game was on an absolute knife's edge, and we saw exactly what it meant to your bench and your coaching staff as well. How incredible is that 3 points?
Oh, it's massive for us. I feel like the performances, they've not been as consistent as we want them to be, and especially after the boys, we kind of let the gaffer down and the fans last week against Sydney, and we owed it to him and we owed it to the fans as well, and we owed it to ourselves most importantly, to come out here and have a good fight and show a bit of grit. And I think we've done just exactly that, and we've got the 3 points from it.
3 goal line clearances tonight across the squad. You could feel that desperation.
Yeah, massively. I think if you look at our defensive record from last season, it's the one thing we've been lacking on a bit this year. And the back 4, back 5 tonight have just been absolutely incredible. Each and every one of them, they've fought their absolute heart out for every individual duel, every clearance. So yeah, it's a credit to them, because they've kept us in that game. The goal scorers, we've not won it for them, them boys have.
You're one of those goal scorers. Your first goal since the grand final last year, and it happened just moments after you came onto the park. Talk us through the goal and also Jacko's instructions.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a long time coming anyway for me, I think. But no, I think being out with injury and sickness for the past 5-6 weeks, I've just been, itching to get back into it. And, the gaffer, when I was stood on the sideline, said, I'm telling you right now, you've got a goal in this for you today. The transitions and stuff, I feel like it suited us well. And, Docker's put a peach of a ball into the back stick. And, I mean, I'm 6'3", I should be heading goals in every week. But no, yeah, Docker's put a great ball in and I'm on the end of it. So put us in the lead 2-0, and yeah, we've held on to that.
Congratulations on a great result.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Ryan Edmondson joining us. Jared Carluccio has been good enough to join us as well. Jared, back in red and black, you had to watch those final few minutes from the bench. It was absolute desperation stakes out there.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we didn't want to be in that position that late in the game and be behind, but credit to the boys, we didn't stop fighting here at home, and we pushed it right to the very end, and that's all you can ask at the end of the day.
Your first game back in red and black, how did that feel? And did you get a time for a training session with the team? How tight was the turnaround? Yeah,
it was pretty tight turnaround. I flew in earlier in the week and just had a session yesterday and then straight in today. But I actually quite enjoyed it. It was just no time to think about anything or overthink it. Just get straight on the pitch with the boys, and they were great, and the coaching staff were great, and it was just to go out there and do my thing.
On the topic of that flight, you've done it plenty of times recently from the West Coast back. Did that have an impact, that short turnaround time tonight?
Look, we don't want to make an excuse. That's part of the A-League is the travel, and that trip obviously is a tough one, but that's no excuse tonight. Central Coast, I think, took their chances in the final third, and we need to look at that.